Hello students, today's video is going to be on C++. How C++ video is very important. That is what you will see at the end of this video. Learning it properly in the first class is very important for you to develop interest in C++. You may call practical C++. I have seen students learning C++ from different sites and different classes, but this C++ is going to be a clearing C++. This will be used to convert the knowledge into a practical design of C++ in order to design a software or a firmware, and this will be useful for computer interfacing people and even other students a lot. Now, as you can see on the screen, learning basic C++ structure in a proper way is a prerequisite for everyone. And as you can see on the screen, when you do C++ programming in Linux or in Windows, you need to include some libraries first. So you can see include IOStream, include conio.h, using namespace std. For the time being, you keep it by heart in order to write down these lines in any C++ program. Now, in order to understand the very basic concepts of C++, a student must learn a class structure. Now let's take a class named student itself. As you can see on the screen, you start the C++ program by writing down the class at the topmost. You give a name to the class, which is student. You can see the class has got the private part and the public part. And the private, I have defined the name and age. Name is a group of characters which is defined by character star name, and age is an integer. The public part has got the marks, and you can see there are some 4 different function declarations. Function declaration means these 4 functions are not written here, but it's simply declaration. It says that there is a function called student brackets and other 3 functions which are written elsewhere. Suppose you write a function in the name of the class itself and put brackets like student. This is called a default constructor, and this is a constructor with no arguments. Remember, this is a function which is in the name of the class but with no arguments, and this function gets executed whenever you create an object of this class student. This will be the first function which will be executed. Now you can see another constructor which is called constructor with arguments. It is in the name of the same class student, but then 2 arguments are there, the character star and name. Character star for the name and integer for the age. And another function you can see, that is void display all. This is a general public function to display some marks or age or whatever. And then I have purposefully defined a function called a static function, which is to basically say that static means which is available to all. What it means you will come to know a little later. So now we have defined a class called student with a private and public variables and functions. As you can see, the next screen is where you are going to write down the code for the constructors. Student scope resolution student. That means this is the default constructor. Whatever you want to write when an object is created, the first thing to be done is programmed inside this. The next function, student scope resolution student, character star and integer a. This is a constructor with argument. Here I am initializing age is equal to a. A is what is coming as an argument. Name is equal to n. So age and name is initialized. You remember, age and name were two private variables which were defined in the class student. These two private variables can be accessed anywhere only within the class. So that is why you are allowed to use these two variables inside the class. Now look at the functions. Two functions, display all and static function. So display all, what I have written is just display the name, age and marks. This is a print in C. This is in C++, it's a C out. Now there is a static function. As I said earlier, this is a function shared by all the objects. So this is a global function kind of thing. And I have simply said print hello static call. That's it. Now look at the program. This is very important for you to learn the basic of C++, object-oriented programming, through this example. In the main program, the first thing, the line number 3. Look at the line number 3. I said student A, and I have passed the name of the student as well as the age. That means I have created an object called A. This is the first object I have created, and I can say a.marks is equal to 50 because marks is defined as public. I can simply put a dot and say assign that variable. A.age is equal to 20 I can't say, because if you remember the first line, age was private. Now a.age is equal to 20. If you say, when you execute, it says it cannot be accessed, it's private. That means private variables cannot be accessed outside the class. Now the sixth line is the first print which is coming onto the screen, cout a.marks. I can simply print a.marks. You can see the age was 50, which was passed through a.marks is equal to 50. That is in line number 4. That is being printed out. That means this is being printed out from the object a.marks. Now doing it in a dot convention is quite simple. Now good programmers always use pointers. Now how do you create an object pointer. Line number 7, you can see you have the student class and you are creating an object pointer. Star object pointer is equal to new student. This is the syntax. That means you have created an object pointer of the type student. Now I initialize object pointer is equal to ampersand a. That means you are initializing the object pointer with an address of the first address of the object a. Object a was created in line number 3. Now I can access, I can say objptr arrow mark display all. That means I am accessing the content of the object a. A was having the name as Mohit, age is 15 and marks is 50. I have printed all these 3 things from line number 9. You can see on the right hand side top the corresponding lines being printed at the execution. Now you could do the same thing without all this complex pointer type of convention. You could using simple a.display all also. You could have done that too, but efficient programmers always use pointers. Remember that. In line number 10, you can see that you are just printing out the marks of the object a through an object pointer. You can see the display being printed 50. So that way, this page, I hope it explains how to simply create an object, assign the values, access through dot convention as well as through pointer concepts. Pointer is basically you are pointing to the first address of the object, creating an object pointer. The only difference is instead of dot you are using the arrow mark, right arrow mark in pointers. Now look at further the use of pointers. Line number 11 says that if there is a member function, you can create a pointer of that. Now member function is display all. Now the display all function can be initialized with the member function pointer. After that, you can see line 13. You can call a.star member function pointer function. That means the display all function will be brought out here because display all was initialized with a member function pointer in line number 13. You can see the output which is coming, the entire thing whatever it was printing through a.display all is now coming in a different way through pointer. Now if you have a public variable, how will you access through pointers? Line number 14 says that you can say that integer type the marks is being assigned as a pointer, marks pointer, and line number 15 says you print the mark through pointer. So now the a.star mark pointer, that is what it is, same as a.marks. It is through pointer, it will be star marks pointer. That means star of the pointer is nothing but marks. Now line number 16 is cout, that is printing ... see the following call. That you can see that in the screen too. Now I can always, line number 17 says that display the member function pointer. Member function pointer was assigned to display all. Remember, just execute that function in line number 17, and you can see that. And also you have a static function which can be simply called by class name, scope resolution, static function. That is also being called. So that means even without creating an object you can call a static function. That is why I was talking about what static means. So now we can match line by line the outputs which are coming on the screen. This summarizes that you can create an object of a class, then you can access them through dot convention simply or through pointers too. Everything can be accessed to in both the ways. Now how do you use the C++? What is the use of C++ in day-to-day life? Use of C++ to design a software. How it can be for computer interfacing. Look at the screen. There's a Linux tool called a Qt Creator where you can create a window. This is the first thing you do in a graphical user interface design. Look at the lines on the right. Few lines can do this, but it uses very advanced, very basic C++. You can see in the next screen how that works. To create a window, what you do, you create a program called symbol.cpp in Qt Creator, in which you are writing. After main, you can see that you are having a class called a Q application, and you're creating an object called app and with some arguments. Then you have another class called QWidget, and you have created an object called window. Then I can say window.resize. These are the functions. Like earlier you are having display all, right? Same way you have different functions in the objects. So you can, which were defined in the class, and we can set all those things. Window.resize, window.show, etc., etc. So that's how you, this example will show you how you use the basic C++ learning to create a graphical user interface. How powerful it is, now we can understand. Now see, exactly the same things what I spoke little before. Window.resize, all these things you can practically do it to create a window, simple example window like this. Isn't it amazing? C++ is really powerful. Now the next screen will tell you how you can use C++ to design a firmware. People working with all this hardware, firmware and software, how to design a firmware. Suppose you make an LED on and off every few seconds. So you can use a compiler called Mbed Firmware compiler, which is free, in which you can create an LED glowing on and off through a small little microcontroller board. Now this also uses C++. Without knowing C++, you cannot do. You look at the program, the left hand side, in the main, just above main, digital out my LED LED1. Digital out is a class, my LED is an object, and LED1 is an argument. This is what we learned some time before. So in which you can say my LED is equal to on, LED will come on. Wait for 0.2 seconds, again my LED is equal to 0, again wait for 0.2 seconds. That means every 0.2 seconds LED is going to come on and off using the concept of class and object. You can see in the picture a small little board in which one of the LEDs has come on the lowermost 4 LEDs are there. One of them must come on and is blinking after you execute this. Without knowing C++, couldn't have been able to do this. Now further reading a large number of such very good C++ good examples I have put in my book, chapter 8, chapter 9 and chapter 10. You can go through this book and you can buy this book also online. Thank you.